Yeah. Okay. Good day, everyone. Alima, let me bring this thing, girl. How it looking on your end? Give my idea how it looking, Alima. Good. Smooth too. That's what we talk about. Proper thing. Come to make it hot today, guys. See this here, right? This here will be some problems. Y'all, what you could do, you could turn your phone sideways to see it better.
So, part of it's so cut.
That's not my problem, my ears, eh? Hold on, Alistair. The meeting, that is some my students who are paying. They are on the meeting. But I'll have to move it though. I'll have to move it. Because it bothered me. Okay, we'll start in a while, guys. Let me just see if you can set up this thing properly, right? Message these children here. No problem, Alima. Alyssa, what were you saying earlier?
So never mind, never mind.
Okay. You're still hearing her? I have in my oh, it's because all you're on the laptop. Probably that's why. That small thing. Okay. Alright. I think I gotta move this. Okay. Trying to leave this here so I could at least see if any comments. Alright, let's get it started, guys. Right, this is June 2018, right? Am I not hearing all these people trying to come in? Nothing is that way. Let's check it to see how it looking here. Looking good, man. Looking good. All right, let's get this show on the road. Right, we're on number five. Right, that's sending our last message here. Okay, right. So students in a group were asked to name their favorite sport. Their responses are shown in the pie chart below. So once we deal with a pie chart, everyone should know that this pie chart has has 360 degrees all around, right? Hold on, guys. That's stuck. Right. Right. Send you back up. Edit. I think I'll close off this, right, guys? Right. So let's go. Okay. So we know that the total total revolution in a circle or a pie chart or anything that deals with a circle would be 360 degrees, right? So all the angles around a point within this circle will be 360. So we have football accounting for x degrees, tennis accounting for 45 degrees, cricket accounting for 94 degrees. So let me see what this question is asking. Calculate the value of x. So this is food. 360 degrees and 60 degrees is how much we have all the three angles adding up to. So if we want to find x, x would be equal to 360 minus 94 plus 45. And when we add up this, what would we get? I need that little box back in because I think I want to see. 221. That's fine, guys. Right, I get back the little box. Because I think I need to see what students responded and saying here, right? Right, when we work it out, what the value of x would be. The value of x would be, how much, guys? 221. Online, my online children. 221, right? 221 degrees. Okay? So we go in now. What percentage of the students choose cricket? Right? So cricket would be 94 over 360, not 360, sorry. This is 94 degrees. So they say what percentage of the students? So it will be 94 years over 360. And how many students do we have in total? We don't know, but it's a percentage trying to work. So it will be 94 over 360 multiplied by 100. And this will be equal to how much percent, guys? Anybody?
6%, sir.
26.1. I see somebody put 26.1 online. Is it 26.1? 26.
Yes, sir.
Right. So it'll be 26.1%. That is the percent that accounts for cricket. All I did is I took the amount of degrees for the angle that represents cricket, put it over the total amount of degrees in the circle, which is 360, and I multiplied by 100, right? Simple thing. That's primary school business, right? Going down. And this thing only saying low battery, right? Right. Given that 40 students choose tennis, calculate the total number of students in in the group, right? So 40 students chose tennis. So where is tennis? Tennis is actually 45 degrees. So here what is going on? If, hold on, guys. Hello? Hi? Hi? Yes, I am. Oh, okay, okay. You all wanted to pass. All right, well, I'm coming. I'm coming. All right,
So you?
no problem. Let come up now. Yeah, let come up.
So you were speaking just now. So
Yeah,
but that's not say I didn't
nah,
hear.
I know. I'll say it over. What happened is I got called there, a student outside tomorrow. Give me a second, right, guys? Give me
Okay.
1 second. Right, let's go. Yeah, you all follow. Share the live. Keep seeing this low battery thing here. Right, so we're going 40 students. Given that 40 students chose tennis, calculate the number of students in the group, right? So this means that 40, what it was, boy, 45. We check it to see how much degrees represents tennis, right? So it'll be 45 over 360, right? 45 over 360 multiplied by some value, let's call that value x, is equal to 40 students, right? 45 over 360 multiplied by some value is equal to 40. So what we need to do now is actually take this 45 over 360, carry it to the left, and do the opposite of multiply, which is to divide. So x is actually equal to 40 divided by 45 over 360. So what you get when you work out that, guys? Anybody? You can belt it out online. 300. Are we getting 320 students?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Okay. When you all speak, anybody who on the TikTok here, when you all speak, you hear it on TikTok? Because how are on the desktop app, you might hear everything. TikTok people, 109 people here. Oh, look that. They say yes, they hear them. Okay. Wait. That's the thing when you see I was putting it like on the phone, they would not have been able to hear you already hearing you all know. Alright. So let me go. Y'all can just respond with the answer still, right? Respond with the answer still, right? My online children. Y'all can respond with the answer still. Right? That's okay if they hear all you. They don't know all your name, right? So let me go. Let's try and answer wrong, eh? Make we look good. Tiki talkie here and we. Right, we good. I know it'll be ashamed to say the answer, please. Right? So this means that this is the total amount of students we get here. Right? So we're moving on. Wait, plenty people coming in now, but right, let's go. Okay, this is number. Let me see what number this is. This is still number five part B, right? So we have a frequency polygon of the number of goals scored by. Oh gosh, why does keep coming up by around 33%? Right. So the diagram below shows a frequency polygon of the number of goals scored by a football team in 25 matches, right? Um, guys, remember I told you all that I don't want to. That's oh gosh, Chelsea ain't feeling well. That's guys, one of my students not feeling well. Right, we going again. The diagram below shows a frequency polygon for the number of goals scored by a football team in 25 matches, right? So the frequency polygon reflects this information underneath here, right? So for 5 matches, we had 0 goals, right? So you have 0 here, number of goals 0. That will be for 5 matches. Then for 1 goal was scored in 7 matches. And that's how we plot this frequency polygon. So we're looking to find the two missing numbers here. So we're dealing with 2 goals scored. Who could tell me what would be the number of matches that 2 goals were scored in?
3.
Right, that's excellent. 3 would be your answer. So we put in 3 here, right? 3. Okay. And then we go into the other missing number is 5. So what number of matches were 5 goals scored in? Anybody could answer, guys?
2.
2. Excellent. So we have 2 here. TikTok answering like mad, boy. I've seen all that. I wonder if I could put this on this side, but I don't put this on this side. Might be better here. Right, yeah, we'll leave you there. Right, let's go. So, okay, fellas here. Right, so we completed our table using our frequency polygon. Right? So 5 matches would be 2. Okay? We're going down. What is the modal number of goals scored by the team? Who could tell me what would be the the number of goals that was scored in the most matches? What would be the modal score for the team? Anybody?
1.
Excellent. One. One, right? Because we had 7 matches where 1 goal was scored. So what is the modal number of goals scored by the team? 1, right? 1 is the modal number of goals scored. Hey, look how I spell scored. Okay? 1 mark in the bag for this, 1 mark in the bag for completing that simple table above, right? And for those who were asking what year this is I'll chop this out. Hold on. Yeah, this is 2018 June that we just completed. My class and I are completed. Right? So determine the median number of goals scored by each team. So to determine the median number of goals scored by each team, we need to first find what the median number would be, right? So we're going to this table here, right? So number of goals, 5 matches would be 0. So this is the first 5 matches, right? And then we have that's student message one here. Hold on, guys. Right. Yeah. So as we were saying, okay. So the number of matches with 0 goals would be 5. The number of matches with 1 goal would be 7, so forth. So how many goals do we have? How many matches do we have in total? First of all, to calculate this, we'll have to actually add all of these together, right? Add, 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 add. So how many matches do we have in total? Did anybody calculate it? Number of matches in total here.
25.
25. Thank you very much. So we got 25 matches in total. So if you're looking for the middle match, right? The middle match will actually be half of 25 plus 1, right? So my median match, this will be my median match would be equal to 25 plus 1 divided by 2, which will actually be 13th match, right? So which number is going to be covered by the 13th match, right? We're scrolling up to find the median number of goals scored. So this will be the first 5, okay? Then this will be 5 plus 7 is what? 12. So this is 12. The 12th match is up to here. So up to the 12th match would be 1. And then we going into the 13th match, which will actually be in this column. Okay? Seeing it again, 5 matches plus 7 matches would be 12 matches. So this is up to your 12th match, right? So your 13th match is actually going to be in this next column, right? This will have your 13th, 14th, and 15th match. Okay, so your 13th match is in this column. So the number of goals scored in the 13th match will actually be 2. So your median number of goals scored, therefore, median number of goals scored. Same thing I do like what I do above. Scored. Hold on, Alim. Scored would be 2. 2 goals. Right? And I explained how we got it, right? Yes, the 13th was in the one after, which is the 12th. I just keep coming up. Hold on. Right. The 12th, so this is 5 matches. Then the sixth match straight up to the 12th match scored 1 goal. The 13th match straight up to the 15th match, which is 3 matches, had 2 goals. Then 16th match going up the road will be comprising of these. Okay, yes, this is June 2018. Okay, raise your hand if you're good here so far online. My online trend. TikTok respond with yes. Right, so I see more online trend raising their hand here. Excellent. TikTok respond with yes. How to locate the 13th match. All right, good. So calculate the mean number of goals scored by the team. So mean, everybody's supposed to know that your mean is equal to the summation of f multiplied by x divided by the summation of the frequency. So you have the frequency multiplied by the raw data, right? Which is this here. You have f and x here. So your summation of f, we already found that to be 25, right? So we could put our next little column underneath here, right? Show that a little better keen, right? We box that off. Okay, I draw our next little column here, guys. Okay, boom. Okay, bang, bang. So we're trying to establish a column for f. What's going on there? We want a column for f multiplied by x, right? That is what I'm doing here. Okay? So this column here would be f multiplied by x. Okay. Ink green. Right? So this here would be f multiplied by x. So let's go. 5 multiplied by 0 is 0. 7 multiplied by 1 is 7. Can you move this, please? Sure. Let's move it. Why does not moving? All right. Hold on. Okay, we're going again. Right. 3 multiplied by 2 would be 6. 3 threes are 9. 4 fours are 16. 2 by 5 is 10, 1 by 6 is 6. So what we did here is we made an extra column reflecting the number of matches multiplied by the number of goals scored for each column, right? Then we're going to add up all these things here to get the summation of F multiplied by X, right? When we add up all these together, what are we getting, guys? Anybody online? What are we getting? Anybody could answer. Hello. Anybody add it up together? This entire column here. I seen TikTok saying 54.
54.
Right, TikTok saying 54 and Tara.
54.
TikTok, right, good. And thank you guys. Thank you online. 54. Right? Okay, so we're going down. So we have summation of F. Look, summation of F here. Summation of F is equal to 25. That above there, right? So we're going down. Okay? Scrolling down. Right, so we're going to have 54 divided by 25. So my mean would be equal to what? Online.
2.16.
Excellent.
2.1.
2.16. Thank you, guys. Somebody mic on. Alima, your mic on. All right, 2.16. Okay, that is my mean. Scrolling down. All right. Okay, we're done with that question. We're going on to number 6 now. Anybody need to copy here? My online children, raise your hand if you needed to copy. Go ahead, quickly. We have 139 people online. Well, Jules, you had a push. Now is the time to push, Jules. Nah, don't say that. Don't talk that 5 talk. You just gotta put in some more work, guys. Put in some more work. What you put in is what you'll get out at, you know. Right, let me go. Right. We have a big bad. Think I make smaller, boy. Let me make you smaller. Hey, I can hide you kind of behind here. Alright, there you go. Okay. In the question, take the value of pi to be 22 over 7. The diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows a cross-section of a circular metal disc of radius 21 millimeters, not centimeters. A square hole with sides 6 millimeters is located at the center of this disc, right? 6 millimeters accounts to this square here. We have a radius of 21 centimeters. Circumference of a disc. The first thing I'm going to write is I'm going to write the formula for circumference of a circle, right? Circumference of a circle would be equal to 2 pi r. Okay? So, plugging in the information that we were given above, the circumference of this disc would be 2 multiplied by pi, which is 22 over 7 multiplied by my radius, which is 21. When we multiply all this, what would we get, guys? Anybody?
1.32.
1.32 or 132?
No, 132, sorry. 32.
That's okay. 132 millimeters. This is the circumference of my disc, right? Circumference of disc. Okay? Scrolling down. slide now moving. All right. The area in millimeters squared of the cross section of the disk. Now, the cross section of the disk is what we see when we are looking on top here. Now, this square represents a hole. So, if I want the not the circumference, the area of the cross section, I'm actually looking for the area of everything here that does not include the hole. Right? Raise your hand if you are clear. Raise your hand if you are clear, my online children. Let's go. Right? So in order to find the area of the cross section, which is what we see in there, excluding the square in the middle, we need to find the area of the circle and then find the area of the square and minus it, right? So the area of the cross section, so area of cross section is equal to area of circle minus the area of square. All right. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. And the area of a square is going to be side multiplied by side. Okay? So pi r squared is going to be 22 over 7 multiplied by 21 squared. This will give me the area of that circle above. And the square would actually be just 6 multiplied by 6. Okay? So my online children, what is the... You can give me the final answer. We are big children here. Give me the final answer. What's the area of the cross section? Final answer I want, eh? Anybody work it out? I see online saying 1,386. That is what?
I get
1,300.
in 1,350. That's what I get in.
1,350 as a final answer, right? So I'm guessing here's
Yeah.
probably 1,386, and then this will be 36. So there's some quoting just this answer here, right? So your answer is 1,350, right, Haley? Millimeters
Yes, sir.
squared because it's an area, right? I see now Tiki Toki belting out that as your answer, right? So right, we got through there. That is the area of my cross section, right? If anyone needs to write, go ahead and write quickly. Raise your hand if you need to write, please. Right, let's go. Scrolling down. Thank you for the answers, guys. Right, what they saying here? They say given that the thickness of the disk is 2 millimeters, calculate the maximum number of disks that can be constructed from 100 centimeters cube of the available metal. So 1 centimeter cube is equal to 1,000 millimeters cube. So what I need to do is I actually need to find the volume of one disk, right? So that's what I'm going to find, the volume of one disk, right? And that would be equal to the area of the cross section multiplied by the thickness, which we will call the height. Okay, the height will be the thickness. Okay, so we found the area of the cross section. What was the area of the cross section? Anybody can remind me? Online, what was the area of the cross section? Hello?
1,350.
1,350 multiplied by what is the thickness of the disk, which is the height. The thickness will be how high it is. If I look for the thickness of this phone, right, that will be how high the phone is or how tall it is, right? The height of the phone. So what is the thickness of the disc? Anybody?
2 millimeters.
2. Excellent, Caitlin. 2. Right? So when we multiply this, what are we getting? What is the volume of the disc?
2700.
Excellent, Amaya. 2700 millimeters cube. Right? But bear in mind that 1 centimeter cube is equal to 1,000 millimeters cube. So I want to change this from millimeters cube back to centimeters cube. What do I do? Multiply or divide? Anybody? Am I multiplying by
Divide.
1,000 or am I dividing by 1,000?
Right?
Anybody? Divide.
Divide.
Excellent. Divide. Excellent. Anytime you're going from right to left, universal conversion. Right to left would be division. Left to right, multiplication. Right? Try to stick that in your head somewhere. So therefore, right? Well, I could just work it right here now. This will be equal to 2,700 divided by 1,000, which is 2.7 centimeters cube. Now the question jump out and asks us how many discs I can fit now. This is supposed to be a tree, sorry. The question asks how many discs can be constructed using this amount of metal. What would I have to do to find out how many discs would be constructed using that 100,000 centimeters cube of metal? What would I have to do, guys? Anybody have any idea? I want to know if I need to multiply or if I need to divide. Therefore, okay, I seen TikTok belting it out. 2.7 centimeters cube is the volume of one CD. I want to find out how many CDs I can make with 1,000 centimeters cube of metal. What do I need to do?
Divide.
Thank you very much. I need to divide, right? So therefore, the amount, okay, rolling to the question. So they want the maximum number of this, right? So therefore, max number of disk would be equal to 1,000 divided by 2.7, which will give me what? Which will give me what? Anybody have it there? What's the answer here? 1,000 divided by 2.7, please, guys.
370.37.
370.37, right? We'll go to two decimal places. 37 disk. Okay? So the maximum number I can make would be 370. So this is approximately equal to 370. Okay, so we won't put disk here because the actually maximum number of disks I can make, it will be 370 disk. Okay, disk. Question is done. Anybody have any questions? Right, so the actually maximum number of this. Okay, so if the question is telling you 370.37, then it will be 370 is the most amount of this you can make. You can't make that extra one disk. Okay, scrolling down. Question going nice so far. Okay, the globe is wait now. Right. So a globe is a scaled spherical representation of the Earth. I wonder if this is still on the syllabus, right? I need to check. The actual length of the equator is 40,000 kilometers and is represented on the globe by a piece of string of length 160 centimeters. What length of string would represent the actual distance of 500 kilometers on the globe, right? So the actual length of the equator is this, right? Well, like I'm sure, represent the actual distance of 5, okay, and the string represents 160. So if I want to get a ratio of the globe to actual life, what I could do is I could actually see what 1 centimeter would represent. If 160 centimeters represented 40,000 kilometers, right? So 1 centimeter would be equal to one, I would say 160 divided by 40,000 kilometers, right? And this will be equal to what? Somebody work it out for me, please. No, this is what 1 kilometer would be. So somebody work out this and give me the answer here. Okay, I see somebody put in 0.44. So 1 kilometer would actually be equal to 0. Is it 0.004 or 0.04 on
Zero
length?
point zero zero four.
0.0.
0.04. Right, so that's 0.004 centimeters. So 1 kilometer is actually representing is actually represented by 0.004 centimeters on that globe, right? So if I want to see what 500 kilometers would be represented by, so therefore 500 kilometers would be equal to 0.004 multiplied by 500. So how much this would be? Come guys, I need workings. How much centimeters you get in here?
2.
Right. So you need a string
2.
of 2 centimeters. You need a 2 centimeter length of string. Length of string to represent the actual distance of 500 kilometers on the globe. Right? Scrolling down. Haley, your hand up.
Yes, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So, how come we didn't do the kilometers over the cm?
Right. So here it is. If I have a string here, this is our globe, right? Watch it. This is our globe. I have a string running, what they say, the string covering the equator, right? The equator is where? No, the equator is somewhere in the middle here. That's how the equator is run. A geography student, that's how the equator is run.
Yes, it
Geography.
does.
Right. So this is 160 centimeters, right? So they're saying in real life, this represents 40,000 kilometers, right? Okay, in real life, in the world, okay? If I want to find out what one of these what 1 kilometer actually represents here, okay? 1 kilometer, why did I find 1 kilometer as opposed to what 1 centimeter represents? Yes, because I actually want to find 500 kilometers in real life. So I will find out what is represented by 1 kilometer, which would be 0.004. So 1 kilometer is properly represented by like a little dot here is 1 kilometer because you want to get 40,000 kilometers being represented on this 160 centimeter piece of string. Okay, Haley, but that's an excellent
Okay,
question
son.
though. That's an excellent question. Why we didn't do it the next way around? Probably because the next question we probably had to work it out. So you see, we're going to the next part of the question, right? Anybody needed to write here? Okay, nobody needed to write. So the distance between Palmyra and Quintec is represented on the globe by a string of length 25 centimeters. Calculate the value of PQ, the actual distance in kilometers between P and Q, right? So what we're going on here, okay? This 160, this is what we doing for this one, Haley. Okay? I want to find out the length of well, how long a string of length 25 would actually be represented on um on a globe. Okay, so I actually need to find how much 1 centimeter represents. Okay, that's what I started with. How much does 1 centimeter represent? How would I get that? I will do what Haley just was asking. 40,000 divided by the 160 now will tell me how much 1 centimeter represent. So somebody work out that and tell me what to get in, please. So 1 centimeter of string on the globe would represent how many kilometers? 1 centimeter is equal to, anybody work it out? How many kilometers, guys? Online.
250.
250,
250.
250 kilometers is represented by 1 centimeter. So, um, Haley, if I look at the string here and I measure 1 centimeter, right? 1 centimeter on the string would actually represent how much it was? 250 kilometers in real life. Okay? And you could have worked it so because look what I seen here, right? So if 1 centimeter represents 250 kilometers, you could have used that to Haley, right? And I want to represent 500 kilometers. I could have just divided this 250 into this 500 and I will get 2 centimeters. So I know a 2 centimeter length of string would represent 500. So you could have done it anyway. Okay, Haley?
Yes,
Haley?
sir.
Okay, anyway you could have done it. So if I want to represent 25 centimeters and 175 represents 250 kilometers. So therefore 25 centimeters would be equal to 25 multiplied by 250, which would be how much kilometers, guys? Anybody who work it out?
6,250.
6,250 kilometers, right? Kilometers. That is the actual distance in kilometers between P and Q, right? So Haley, if I want, I could have worked this out up here, which is the same thing. Find out that 1 centimeter is 250 kilometers. Divide 250 into 500 and I would have got me same too. Okay, Haley?
Yes, sir.
I was just thinking, we're trying to find kilometers. Let me find out what 1 kilometer is. And I could just multiply that 1 kilometer amount by 500 to find out what would represent 500 kilometers. That was just what I was thinking. But you could have done it the way that you were thinking. Cool? Thumbs up if you cool. Nice. Anybody need to write here? Raise your hand if you need to write here. I'm checking with my people. TikTok, yes, if all you're going good. The you could follow. Follow. Right, we go in. We just have one more question to eat up here. And then we will go to another past paper. Right, now I don't waste time drawing figure fours for this, right? That is a you know, that you bring out the little toddler in you sit down and you draw what the fourth sequence would be, right? This is going up by 2 blocks. So the fourth one will just have like blah, 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 right? That is the fourth one, how it would look. It's supposed to have a figure 4. Figure 4 would look like this, right? It going up by two squares, okay? Not going to waste time there. Going on to the next one. Right. Study the pattern below. Each row, ting, 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 ting. Right? Each row relates to one of the figures in the sequence of figures on page 22, which is above. Some rows have not been included in the table. Complete the rows numbered 2, 1, 2, and 3. Right, so let's go. So how much is it gonna buy, guys? How much is this gonna buy? Here went up by 2. Here went up by 2. How much is here going up by? 4? 4. Right? So this will be what numbers? Anybody belt it out for me? Number of squares in figure 4.
9 and 20.
9, and this is the where the perimeter of the figure is 20. Excellent, right? Now, before I do 2, I'm going to do this one underneath here, right? So basically, if this is going to by 2, it's going to be like 2 by whatever n is plus something, right? We'll figure out that after, right? This will be 4 by n plus something here also. So let's plug in 1 into n here. So 2 by 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. Let me just check it with number 2. Well, the second row, and make sure that it checks out, right? 2 by 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. It checks out. 4 by 1 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8, right? So I get in plus 4 here. Let's check the second one. 2, 4 twos are 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. Checks out. Once you check 2 rows and it checks out, 2n means. That means 2 multiplied by whatever number is here, guys. Whatever number is here is what we place in place of n. Add in 1 and you will get any number in this column. So basically here, they gave us 43. So this will mean I'll do it right up here. So 2n plus 1 would be equal to 43, right? Going to carry 1 here, minus it. So 2n is equal to 43 minus 1. 2n is equal to 42. Divide n here. N is equal to 42 divided by 2. N is equal to 21. So n is 21 for this column, right? The last column, if we know n is 21, we could plug in 21 here and solve, right? So that would be 4 by 21 plus 4, which will give me what? Online. What does it give me?
88.
88. Excellent. So that's how easy you can get 6 marks in the people exam. 6 marks in the bag. Right? 88. Everybody's seen it. Very good. Okay? Scrolling down. Determine the relationship between the number of squares and the perimeter P of the figure. So if we want to find the relationship between these two things, right? All we'll have to do is, this is part, okay. We will just need to solve them simultaneously. That's what I could figure here. If we want to show a relationship or the relationship between the two, right? We have S is equal to, the squares will be 2n plus 1, right? And then we have P, which is the perimeter, is equal to 4n plus 4n plus 4, right? So if I want to show a relationship between these two, right, I am going to, what I could do is I could rearrange this to make n the subject and then plug that n into P, and we will show P is equal to something that includes S in it, right? So I'm going to make n the subject here. Okay, so we could carry this 1 here. So you'll have S minus 1 is equal to 2n. Carry the 2 here. S minus 1 over 2 is equal to n. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is substitute n equals to S minus 1 over 2 into, so substitute n equals to S minus 1 over 2 into P is equal to 4n plus 4, right? So P would be equal to 4 by S minus 1 over 2 plus 4. What we could do here, this 2 into 4 is 2 because this is like 4 over 1 multiplied by S minus 1 over 2. P would be equal to 2, what's going on there? P will be equal to 2 by S minus 1 plus 4. Excuse, plus 4, right? Multiply 2 by S, multiply 2 by 1. Okay, so P will be equal to 2S minus 2 plus 4. We could work out these two numbers here. P, draw a line down the center here, guys. P will be equal to 2S plus 2. So this is the relationship, right? Meaning that P is equal to 2S plus 2. Anytime they ask you to show the relationship between two equations, it's like you want to show one equation, well, one letter being expressed in terms of the other letter, right? Go ahead, Haley. Yes, ask some interesting questions. Go ahead.
No, so I was just gonna ask you, well, so what you really do with the two equations?
Right.
Like,
This
I confused.
okay, this is equation 1, right? This is equation 2. Right? They have two equations. If I tell you to show the relationship between S and P, okay, it means that I want P is equal to something with S involved in it, or vice versa, or S is equal to something with P alone in it, right? It comes like we want to get rid of the N. We want the N to be non-existent anymore. We want it to be P is equal to something to do with S, or S is equal to something to do with P. You solve them simultaneously, right? Using substitution method. What I did, I made N the subject here, and I plugged it in to this equation here. Right? I don't know why the highlights in this thing are working on. If I'll get to this. Nah. Highlights in this thing are working on. Third. Right. So Haley, you understand where I go with this? I
Yes, sir,
take
so far.
right. So I found N. So what I did is I took this and I replaced N in this equation with S minus 1 over 2. That is what I did. Okay, guys? Raise your hands if you understand this, please. Relationships between two letters. Raise your hand. You can do this if they give you like any question. It comes in like number 2, where they would ask you to show Y in terms of X and something, in terms of X and Z. That is a relationship between Y, X, and Z, right? If they ask you, so it comes like they asking you to show S in terms of P or vice versa. Show P in terms of S, right? TikTok, respond with yes if you're with me. TikTok, yes if you're with me. Yes, I see the yes is coming in. The yes is coming in. Let's go. I only see one no so far. So that means things looking good. Right? So we're done with this paper, guys, because this is what I was doing with my class. Okay? We actually did all these already. Right? So we're going on to another worksheet, right? Another worksheet. Past paper. So this is January 2018, right? We just finished with June 2018. I will save that up and send that in the group for you guys, right? So we're going down. I don't start with number 1, I start with number 8. Even though I find you see number 6. Number 6 has always be a challenging question. The measurement. Right, we start in here. So this year, this thing come like this and throw everybody off, right? They are asking us, right? They said, show by calculation the exact roots of the quadratic equation, right? This would be -1 plus or minus the square root of 6. I remember the year when this came, right? So it is actually this, how this is written here, could show you off, okay? Where's my stuff? I want blue ink. This is actually -1 plus or minus the square root of 6. So if you look at how this is looking, it looks very similar to the quadratic formula. So I'm going to run the quadratic formula to show this, okay? So points to note. for your quadratic formula, you must have a quadratic of the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And I'm going to work the quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, right? This is the formula I am going to use. Okay, so I come in here. So we'd have x is equal to negative. What is b here, anybody? What is b? What is b?
2x.
Forget the x, just the 2, right? Just the 2. So it'll be negative 2. You see plenty of people on TikTok saying 2x. B is the coefficient of x or the number in front of x. So it's negative 2 plus or minus the square root of, well, b, we already established that b is 2 squared minus 4 by, what is a, guys? Anybody, what is a?
1.
Excellent, 1. Right? And C would be, what is C?
Negative
Negative
5.
5.
Excellent, negative 5. Right? All over 2 by A, which is 1. Right? So we're trying to work this thing on top here, right? This will be x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of, somebody work out that bracket for me, please.
So I get 24.
24, right? 24 all over 2. Okay? 2 by 1 is 2. So here what's going on here, right? We want to make this thing look like what CXC wanted to look like, right? So this is a 6 here, guys. Looking like a B, but it is a 6. I want to write it a little better. 6. Right? That's a whole lot. Alright? So we're going 6. Make back this 6, right? Okay, so we want it to look like this. So basically, I want to see something with 6 underneath this square root, right? So here what I'm going to do, we still on x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of, I'm going to break that 24 into 6 multiplied by something, just because I need to see 6 as part of the answer that CXC showed us, right? So it'll be 6 multiplied by 4. 6 fours are? 6 fours are what, guys?
24.
So I did not change my question. 6 multiplied by 4 is still 24. I did not change my question, right? So I'm going now, I'm guessing, assuming I'll run out of space here. That's, you see how much space we have on NAM and RL space here. So we're good. All right. So x would be equal to negative 2 plus or minus, if we use surds, which is actually used in ADMATS, right? You can split this into the square root of 6 multiplied by the square root of 4. Now everybody know the square root of 4 is 2. Okay? I still have to put all over 2. So this now would be x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus. Now it's the square root of 6 multiplied by the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is 2, right? But I could actually just put the 2 in front of the square root sign. So let's stay with me with this magic, eh? I put it into the corner here. It's like square root of 6 multiplied by 2. But I could just put the 2 in front. 2 multiplied by the square root of 6 could actually just be written as 2 square root 6. Right? This is the magic I'm going to work here. Right? That's some ADMATS magic, right? So this will be 2 square root 6. Right? Watch what I did here again. The square root of 4 is 2. I took, it's like the square root of 6 multiplied by 2. So I just took the 2 and put it in front. Square root of 2 multiplied by 2 is the same as 2 multiplied by the square root of 6. Square root of 6, multiplied by 2 is the same as 2 multiplied by the square root of 6. You don't have to put the multiplication sign. You can drop it. It will just be 2 square root 6, right? all over 2. Okay? That is what is going on here, right? Now, this 2, which we are divided by, actually needs to be divided by this 2 on this side and this 2 square root 6. So watch it. Negative 2 is going to be negative 2 over 2 plus or minus 2 square root 6 over 2. Very similar to if you have, like, say, x plus y over 2, it will be the same thing as x over 2 plus y over 2. This 2 must be divided by the 2 terms on top there when we have plus or minus in the middle. Okay? Let's take a little time soaking this. This is a little different. Raise your hand if you are with me. I don't think everybody with me, but raise your hand or ask a question if you need to. Right? Raise your hand. Chanel with me. Amaya, Carissa. Okay. Okay, a lot of students still here. Okay, I see some people online saying they lost. Right? Okay, we're going back up to the question, right? The question wants you to show this quadratic as this root here. I wrote it over here because it looks a little confusing how CXC wrote it. It's actually negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 6, right? What I did, I worked my quadratic formula. Up to here, everybody should be good. There's nothing out of the ordinary up to here, right? What I did, all I did is I split 24 into 6 multiplied by 4. Why did I split it? Because CXC wants you to write your answer like this, and I'm seeing a 6 under the square root. So I know that I need to make this 24 6 multiplied by something, right? So we could have split the plus n and work it out, the plus n. What plus n? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Right, so we're going down. So square root of 4 is 2. But I put the 2 in front. No, we can't. We're not splitting the plus and minus because CXC didn't want to split it. They left it together. Right, the plus, okay, the plus and minus. Okay, I understand what you're saying. We're not splitting it, right? Because CXC wanted it to remain together, right? So we go in. At this point now, we could say 2 into 2 is 1. So this will be equal to negative 1. Put back the plus or minus. Then 2 into 2 is 1. But 1 multiplied by anything would, well, 1 multiplied by the square root of 6 would be the square root of 6, right? This is exactly what CXC wanted us to show. So I'm going back up here. This is what CXC wanted us to show. 1, negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 6. Everybody seen that? 1 plus or minus the square root of 6. Soak it in for a little while there, guys. Soak it in. Yeah. Some people saying first time they seen this, right? It's more like a kind of odd maths type question. I don't know what they're doing us. Online, you all hear me clearly and fluently? Online.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right, nice. TikTok, you all hear me clearly and fluently? Meaning that I'm not sticking in between? Okay, great. So I'm clear and fluent on both ends. No sticking. Because what I'm going to do, you see how it's fluent here and everything clear? I'm going to post it back on TikTok one time. I'll just save the video and post it on TikTok and YouTube. Right, guys? I might be able to post it on TikTok because this video is like 2 hours long. So I might have to post it on YouTube. Right, so we go now. Right. Okay. Boom. Hence or otherwise solve the simultaneous equation, right? So hence or otherwise, meaning that you can actually use the question above to solve this. Once you see that word hence, we could use this somewhere. So let me work. Simultaneous equation. You have 2 plus x is equal to y. Equation 1. This is equation 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute equation 1 into equation 2. That is what I'm going to do here. I'm replacing y in equation 2 with 2 plus x, right? So this will be x by 2 plus x is equal to 5. I'm going to actually try to form a quadratic equation with this, right? So I'm going to multiply x by 2 and then x by x to get 2x plus x squared equals to 5. So I'm going to rearrange this 5, bring it here, and minus it. What that means is that 0 would remain on the right-hand side. Putting the x squared first to it, I'm putting the x squared first. This is plus 2x, so then I'm following up with plus 2x, followed by minus 5 is equal to 0. Everybody with me? Are you with me? Raise your hand if you're with me online. I don't fall asleep there now. It's only 2 more weekends, you know. It's only 2 more weekends before CXC. And it's over. Next year fit. And then you see next year they say everything online. So I don't know how we're gonna do that. So look how this is looking now, right? I would just scroll up here now. And that is this. Somebody tell me now, because I ain't sure. Is that equation underneath there this same quadratic equation here? Raise your hand if you see
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yes.
I see that.
Right, nice. Right. So once you can identify that, because CXC come and say hence here, I knew that this question was related to the question above, right? So I done work out what x is, guys. I know x is equal to -1 plus or minus the square root of 6, right? I could branch off into 2 answers here now, right? To solve a simultaneous equation, I'm going to find 2 values of x. So I'm going to branch off into 2 answers where 1 is x is equal to -1 plus square root of 6, right? Somebody work out that for me. And then the next one would be x is equal to -1 minus the square root of 6. And I'll get 2 answers, 2 values for my x's. Somebody hit me 2 values there, please. There you was. Somebody hit me 2 values now. What's the first one online? I seen TikTok belting out 1.45. That correct? This is
Yes,
6,
it is.
Yes, sir.
Right, 1.45. And what's the next one? I seen TikTok saying somebody say -3.45.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
-3.45. Right? So we found our 2 values for x, but don't get tied up. This is a simultaneous equation. So the mission is to find the value of the x's and then follow up by finding the values of the y's. So I come in right here. So next we're going to substitute values of x into any one of the equations, but I will pick the easier one, which is equation 1. Equation 1 is actually y is equal to something. Y, I'm not seeing it. Y is equal to 2 plus x, right? And that's right, the next way around. Okay, I just put in the y on the left. Y is equal to 2 plus x, right? So 2 answers. When x is equal to 1.45, and then we have x is equal to negative 3.45, right? Two workings. Y is equal to 2 plus 1.45, and then y is equal to 2 plus negative 3.45. Give me my two values, sir. Y, please. Anybody online? What's the first one? 3.45. Right. And what's the second one?
45.
Negative 1.45. So we solved our simultaneous equation. Right? Marks in the bag. Okay?
So how many marks is for this question?
How many marks? 4. 4. 4, right? Yeah, this is not much working, so 4 marks. I find Ethan, this is not much working for 4 marks. Alright, I'll draw a line here. Right, to show you, come down here with the working, and then we came across here. Somebody say go back up. Somebody, this is what is back up here. This is the whole question for those who want to write it out. Oh yes. Right, raise your hand if you have everything here. So we're going good so far. Right, what kind of bacchanal is this here now? Well, there we go. The incomplete table below shows the values of x and y for the function y is equal to 2 to the x power. I'm not sure if you all seen it properly, but this is y is equal to 2 to the x power, right? For integer values of x from negative 1 to 4. So x will be the values negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to complete this table, right? Meaning that for when x is negative 1, y, hold on, not a space, boy. I got to move this, yes? Move this down here. Move all it down a little bit by ticky-tacky way. Ticky-tacky. Right, so there we go. Y is equal to 2 to the negative 1 power. What is 2 to the negative 1 power? Somebody will call that. That'll be the answer for here. Then you have y, for this one, y will be equal to 2 to the positive 1 power. Here will be y is equal to 2 to the positive 2 power. And here will be y is equal to 2 to the positive 4 power. Anybody get the answers there? What's the first one? What's here?
The first one is 0.
Right, 0.5, excellent. Well, this one is 2, just 2. Then here would be 4. Then here would be what?
16.
16, 2 twos are 4, 4 twos are 8, 8 twos are 16, right? So we complete the diagram. Two marks in the bag. 2 marks in the bag. Just to do this little tiny piece of work in here, right? So on the grid on page 27, let me see this copy had a grid by. This copy of, yes we do. Yes we do, right? So what they want us to do? On the table grid provided on page 27, draw this graph using a scale of 2 centimeters to represent 1 unit on the x-axis and 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit on the y-axis. So get out your graph paper, my children, and let's draw this graph. I've given you all a 2 minutes to draw it. Okay? Take a 2 minutes and start it up. Right? Fire it up.
Sir, graph paper.
Oh gosh. See if you can find somewhere now. Exam in 2 weeks, guys? Exam in 2 weeks. Come on, guys, let's go. I see I have 72 new followers, yes. I'll line up that for me quickly. Hey, this thing looking real clean by now, checking it out, boy. I hear what's on it. Hello. Songing good too, boy. Songing good too, boy. Yeah, for 2026, everything online. Yeah, for 2026, everything online.
For real?
Yeah, everything online.
I wondering how that go and work out to know.
Right? God and CSC
Because a
alone
lot of
knows.
questions, like especially like the construction questions, they go how to change that around, which I find real unfair.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will change up some questions. But they might provide the tools, to have construction tools. Because look like when we do the construction, when we constructed the angles this morning, if you had a tool like that, it would be very easy, Haley. If you have a construction tool like that, it would be very easy to draw. You see how easy I draw that this morning? Because you could just, when you see you have the compass, you open the compass and then you could lock it. You don't have to worry about when you see you moving your finger, if it slip or if it separate, all them kind of thing. I don't know why online CXC alone knows what they are doing. CXC knows what they are
Yeah,
doing.
but so
Hmm.
so you feel it'll be for like all the subjects across the board?
They hear this, right? They said this already. We got memos already from like about 2 or 3 years ago when they wanted to do it online. But Avinash, it would be an online scene where people would still be supervising, yeah. But once you're
Well,
online
yeah.
and you're on a laptop, right? It would have ways that you could chat GPT it a little bit there. But I don't know. I don't know if they figure it out. They figure out a way to lock your
Yes, so no,
screen.
they have systems. Um,
Yeah.
cause
I I
yeah,
foresee
when I
problems. I foresee problems with this online method of testing that's supposed to be rolled out from next year. I foresee problems. But as I said, they all about 2 or 3 years ago, they announced to us. I remember going workshops where they said that CXC would be online from next year, and it never came. It never came online because Trinidad, especially, just don't have the infrastructure to deal with everybody on a laptop. You know, providing everybody with a laptop. You talking about how much children there's right CXC? Now about 18,000 children. There's right CXC every year. So that means we
exactly, and I
either
try to see how they're going and get that to work because
I don't think it
for
would work.
Jan exams, IT, we could
Yeah.
get to do IT online, which makes sense because it's IT,
Yes,
and
IT.
we have to
I
plug in
think I
because everybody plugs in at the same
yeah.
time. So I try to see
Yep.
how they go and get a hook.
Servers go and crash in this country. Servers go and crash. if 18,000 people writing, well, not 18,000 people not writing every single exam, but especially for exams like maths and English, it would have a lot of people. We will see. We will see because, as I said, they had intentions of rolling this out already and it never came to pass. So let me go with this thing here. They say scale 2 centimeters to represent 1 unit, 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit. So scale 1 centimeter to 1 unit on y-axis. I think 2 centimeters to 1 unit on x-axis, right? I think that's I think I have that right. Is this correct here? This is it. 2 centimeters to 1 unit on the x, 1 centimeter to 1 unit on the y. Right, that's correct. So let me work. I'm going to label this thing here. I'm using a different color. Right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, going straight up, right? I don't know what's the highest reaching on the y-axis, 16, right? So I could stop there. All right, this is your y-axis. Okay, we're going to deal with Mr. X. All right, 0 in the middle here, guys. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, -1, -2, -3, -4, underneath here, -1, -2, right? Okay, you ready to plot points? First point is -1 on the x, 0.5 on the y. So for those who don't know how to interpret this table to mean coordinates, the first coordinate would actually be -1, comma 0.5. Second coordinate 0, comma 1. Third coordinate 1, comma 2. Fourth coordinate 2, comma 4. Then 3, comma 8. Then 4, comma 16. Right? Let's plot these points here. Please and thanks. Okay. Right, -1 on the x, comma 0.5 on the y. So -1. Wait, yeah. On the
Oh,
x-axis,
yeah.
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 You mix up the x and your y. The y is 2 and the x is 1 to
No.
1. I
Right.
watch my next symbol.
I put both of them 1 to 1. But it's just this one's supposed to be 2 centimeters to 1 unit on the x-axis, right? So
The
this will be
y. The y.
the y is not 1 to 1. That's let me just confirm up that. It's only when I start to plot, I remember one of them is different. Right, 1 centimeter to 1 unit on the y-axis, that is correct. 2 centimeter to 1 unit on the x. So this here is different. So let me go. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. Right? You could probably squeeze in a 6 here. This is -1. This is -2. That's all we have there. Right? So the first coordinate we're gonna plot. Right, yeah. Like TikTok was saying it or no, nobody can see that. People on TikTok praying, yes, Jesus is always the answer. Happy Easter, everybody. Right, let me go. So wait, where's my first coordinate? Negative 1, 0.5. Negative 1 on the x is here, 0.5 on the y will be in between here. So this coordinate is right here. Right? Raise your hand if you got there. If you got this. Raise your hand if you got this. This first coordinate here. Right? We go now again. Scrolling up. 0 on the x, 1 on the y. 0 on the x, 1 on the y. That means you're right here. Right? Looking good. Okay. 1 on the x, 2 on the y. 1 on the x, 2 on the y. That's here. Looking good. 2 and 4, 3 and 8, right? 2 and 4, 2 and 4, 3 and 8. Where 8 is by? 3 and 8. Right? 4 and what? 16. Right, guys? 4 and 16. They're quite up here, boy. 4 and 16. That's here. Right. Raise your hand or respond with yes, TikTok if you have these. Raise your hand if you have these. Right. Okay. Raise your hand if you have
So,
these points online. Talk to me. Which one not lining up?
no, it's not that. Like, go back up to the question because I could have swear I see that the y is supposed to be 2 to 1.
The y is 2 to 1. No, the y is 1 to 1. Look at here. 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit on the y-axis. 2 centimeters to represent 1 unit on the x-axis. So the y is 1 to 1. 1 unit,
Okay.
1 centimeter to 1 unit here. Right. So everybody's supposed to have this. Let's work. So we go down, join these things now, right? There we go. We starting from here. 1. I missed it, but we go in. Wait. Right. So this here is y is equal to 2 to the x power. That is what that line is. Right? Raise your hand if you're looking like this. Raise your hand if you're looking like this. Proper. Yes. TikTok if you're looking like this. What is the next part of this question asking me for, boy? Let me see what TikTok asking me. I hear my TikTok now. CXC asking me for next year. Scrolling up. Right. So on the grid, blah, 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 using a scale of 2 centimeters, right? They wanted us to draw the graph, right? We draw the graph. So drawing appropriate lines on your graph determine the value of x for which 2 to the x power is equal to the 11. So it just come like this scene. If I say 2 to the x power, I'm going to zoom back in, guys. Right. So if I say 2 to the x power is equal to 11, the original graph is actually, I need blue ink. The original graph is actually y is equal to 2 to the x power. So if I say 11 is equal to 2 to the x power, is basically when y is 11, I want to know the value of x. I can determine that from the graph. So let's draw some lines. So when y is 11, so I'll go in and pull a line here. When y is 11, let me see what lining up with on the x. So you see what you getting yours to line up with, right, guys? Okay. See what you getting yours to line up with. Right. So I going down now. Let me see how we get in here. Anybody got answer what you all getting? Right, I want to go down now. So I coming from right here and I running down, right? Wait. I'm not too sure. It looked like it. What happened there, boy? Whole thing moved by. Could I have a line, please? Thank you. Right. Right, I coming down. Mine's looking like it in between here, guys. Right? So this will be 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5. So mine's is actually 3 points. Look, people getting 3.9. I get 3.45 is what I'm getting. Anybody get I seen TikTok saying 3.5, 3.9. I get 3.45. Online, what you all getting? My online children, what are you getting? I got 3.45.
Sir, I have the same thing.
Nice. See, me and I on the same page. Right? So I'm getting X to be 3.45 because it's in between 3.4 and 3.5. So that means it's 3.45. Right? So tell me what some all are getting. 3.6. Somebody said 3.46, 3.4, 3.5. I get 3.45. Right? That's my answer. That is what my graph gave me. That is what I am writing. You will put what you get in according to your graph, right? CXC said using the graph. So you must use the graph, right? So determine the value of x. X is equal to 3.45 using graph. Right? So done. Right? So whatever you get, put that as your answer. Okay? We're rolling down. You see what else going on down here? Good, beautiful question, boy. Beautiful question. Right? Let me assess this. See what the Lord's saying to do here. Right? So you all look at it, see what you're seeing. So let me see what I see here. I see a cyclic quadrilateral. Online, I see a cyclic quadrilateral here. Boom, bang,
Yes, sir.
bang, bang. I see an angle between a tangent and a chord is equal to the angle in the alternate segment. Yeah, I seen that. I see an angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference. I see in when you have two tangents meeting at a point, that means these two from A to E is equal to B to C. Alright. What else I seen here, boy? I see now a tangent and a radius meets a 90-degree angle is formed. I see in two radius here in this triangle AOD, which means that those two lines are equal. So let's go. We're going A to the C to the D. A to the C to the D. So those two angles are actually coming off the same chord, right? The chord AD, you have an angle at the center and then an angle at the circumference. So this angle here is actually equal to half of that angle at the circumference, right? So ACD is actually equal to a half of 114, which is equal to what, my children? What y'all getting there? Half of 114 online.
57.
57.
57 degrees. And the reason will be angle at center is twice the angle at the circumference. Right? Boom, bang. Boom to the bang. Right, there we are. See if we could scroll in here. I want to write in that. I want to write in 5, 7. Right, let me see what CXC asking us for again here. A, E, D. A to the E to the D. That's this angle up here they're asking us for. Right, remember I told you all this line and this line would be equal, right? So let me see what we could figure out here now. Angle between a tangent and a chord is equal to the angle in the alternate segment. So here we to do it. Here's 90 degrees. Right? There's a lot for this. Here's 90 degrees. Here's 90 degrees, right? Where our radius meets a tangent, 90-degree angle is formed. And if I bust this down the center, right? I'm going to draw a line coming down here. If I bust this down the center, right? Wait. Alright, I coming down the center here. Two things, alright? This angle 114 could could be split into two angles, right? Two equal angles. So this angle here will be 57, okay? And this angle on this side will be 57 to make up the 114. So if here's 57, here's 90, how much this piece of the angle will be, we could work out, right? So this is OED. So we're going to work out OED. So I'm scrolling down. OED, right? So OED is equal to 180 minus 90 plus 57, right? And what is that working out to be, guys? What would OED be equal to? Somebody work it out, please.
33.
Excellent. 33. All right, that's here was 5, 7. That's one to write it in, right? So 33 is what Amaya said, right? 33 degrees, and this reason will be angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees, right? So therefore, AED is equal to 33 multiplied by 2, which will give me 66 degrees, right? Does anybody have any questions here, please? Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Questions? Nobody? All right, so we roll it. Anybody needs to write? Raise your hand if you need to write online. Well, we had 2 more weekends. I see Tiki Taki asking when is the last class. We had 2 more weekends, so 2 more classes. All right, my online people have 4 more classes plus these 2 classes. So online has 6 more classes. How did you get 33? You can split this quadrilateral here into 2 because where a radius and a tangent meet a 90-degree angle is formed, where a radius and a tangent meet a 90-degree angle is formed, and these 2 sides here will be equal, these 2 sides here will be equal. All right, so it's like a rhombus. When you split the rhombus into 2 equal sides, into 2 equal triangles, this angle here will be equal to this one. This angle here is equal to this one. So we found here to be 33. multiplied by 2 because 33 plus 33 is 66. Right? Sunday only, guys, for TikTok, for those who are asking about classes. So let go O to A to C, right? O to A to C. Okay, this little angle here is what we're looking for. O, A, no, this angle inside here. What kind of bacchanal is this, right? Looking for the angle inside here. O to A to C, right? We're looking for this little piece of angle here. So let me see what we can work out here, right? This angle here, we could work out these two angles at the base here, right? Because this is an isosceles triangle. OAD is an isosceles triangle, so you go out here and here, right? Something I'm missing. This is not a butterfly because this point is not touching the circumference. Okay, I feel it there, CXC. Okay, angle between a tangent and a chord is 18 degrees here. So the angle in the alternate segment, which is here, would be 18, right? So if here's 18, and I can definitely find OAD, right? I could find this little angle here, OAC. So let me find OAD first, right? So look at what's going on here. This whole angle is 114. Let me raise some of this noise what's going on in here. I have plenty noise inside here. Moving this, right? Moving this. Okay. All right. So yeah, there are enough movements. So we're trying to find here. We know here is 18, right? So I'm going to put CAD is equal to 18. That's the first thing I'm going to write, right? CAD is equal to 18. So I'm going down. CAD is equal to 18 degrees. And the reason for that would be angle between a tangent and a chord is equal to angle in what thing is that? In alternate segment, right? So we have CAD, right? And I want to find OAC. So OAC, we actually have to find OAD first. So OAD, did we find that above here? No. OAD is actually equal to 180 minus 113. Was it 113 or 114? 114. Right? Minus 114 all over 2. Can somebody tell me what OAD is? Online?
32.
32?
33.
33? Okay.
Yeah.
33. Right. So we found OAD to be 33 degrees. Right? Let's go up and see what's the action. Was there something I could have? Because here's 33. Nah, let it work. Right? So the whole thing is 33 degrees, right? The whole thing is 33. We know here's 18. We want to find this little baby here. Okay? So that little baby, which is what we're looking for, which is OAC, is equal to 33 minus 18, which will give me what, guys? 33 minus 18.
15.
15. 15. 33 minus 18, which is 15 degrees. That is OAC. That is what the question is asking for. Right? So that little baby, so this little baby thing here is 15. Right? 15. Okay? Here, 15. So we're scrolling down. Alright? ABC, the parent. Okay, right. So we won't do this one today. We're just doing this and then it's bye-bye, guys. So let's go A to the B to the C. A to B to C. That's up here. Could we say the angle between a tangent and a chord, right? Which is this angle here, which is what we had to work out. That sounds too much blue, boy. Hold on, guys. Let me read some things here. Too much blue. Right. So we want to find this angle up here. But if we find this angle here, angle between a tangent and this chord is equal to the angle in the alternate segment, right? So how do we find that? The whole thing is 90 degrees. But we just find this little guy here to be how much? How much we find that little guy to be, guys?
15.
15, thank you. Excellent. So this little guy here is 15 degrees. So if you want to find this bad boy here, it will be 90 minus 15, right? So that angle is CAE. CAE. So we're scrolling down and we're going to write CAE. So CAE is equal to 90 minus 15. And that will give me what?
75.
75 degrees. And the reason will be angle between, no wait, when the reason here will be when a radius and tangent meet, a 90-degree angle is formed, right? So where a radius and tangent meet, a 90-degree angle is formed. Okay? So that is that. Now we can proceed to write down what ABC is. ABC is going to be equal to the same 75 degrees, and this reason will be angle between a tangent and a chord is equal to angle in alternate segment. Right? That is the end of our class for today, guys. 2 hours is the most that I can make this evening. It's been a long weekend, guys. Proper class as usual. Online, I appreciate all you. We're going for them ones. TikTok, we're going for ones, right? So how much time we have? Yeah, Vinash, what you said? Yeah, well, I'm gonna post this video on YouTube now. So you see my same TikTok handle, Keen Seret, is the same handle for YouTube. So I go as I come off here, I'm gonna stop the video and I'm gonna put it to load on YouTube on time, right? So guys, take care of yourself. I will see you all online too. You all can check it out on YouTube. Okay? I will send my online people, I will send you all the link in the groups. Alright? Take care of yourself, guys. Peace and love. We out. Right?
Alright, Philip.
Okay, later. Later online. Take care of
I said.
yourself. Bye. Bye. No problem, TikTok. No problem. Really trying to help you all out, right? My YouTube name is same TikTok name, Keen Sir. Right? So I want to end the video now so that I wouldn't have to go and do no edits to take out the end and thing, right? So I go and save the video now, send it to YouTube. Alright, take care of yourself, guys. Bye-bye. Bye, TikTok. Alright, let's close off. And we're gonna end the live.